Bushwick Avenue, and then we'll take it higher.
Booyah, and it's time for the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. It's your host, David McCaig, and I'm here live from Northern Superior Brewing Company. We're at Northern Superior Brewing Company. It is a northern thing, and we are inside the tap room. And by we, I mean myself, Jamie, and Justin. I'm going to bring in Justin and Jamie in just a few moments. Just going to get through the usual introduction portion of the show. It is June the 13th, 2019, and you're listening to the show on thegamesportshow.com, thegamesportshow.podbean.com, or through the Scott Neeson YouTube channel. It may have also been directed here through one of our social media pages, Facebook and or Instagram at The Game Sports Show, respectively. Or you may have also been directed here through any of the shares on Facebook for one of our sponsors and partners, in particular Northern Superior, Sports Center Bar and Grill, Sault Online, as announced today officially on our Facebook page and on Sault Online's page, and our other sponsors that we'll be sharing as well. Either way, we're very happy they're able to join us here tonight for an, as always, action-packed show of the Game Sports Show. Give a special shout out to the staff here from Northern Superior Brewing Company, in particular Blake Winter and also Trevor Zachary for their great work as they always do for us here on the Game Sports Show. And of course Scott Nason, the one and only Scott Nason, the heartbeat of the show, I like to call him, and he will be our board operator tonight. And we're here from Northern Superior Brewing Company. It is just before 7 o'clock, and we are getting ready for Game 6 tonight of the Toronto Raptors Golden State inside Oracle, the last game inside Oracle. And we're going to kind of touch on that near the end of the show, as you can check out our previous editions of the Game Sports Show from Monday at the Wicked Sister and Eagle 95.1 with myself, Scott, EJ, and Butch, and also last night's edition from Sports Center Bar and Grill, which was Wednesday's edition with myself, Jamie, and Matt. We had two special guests on the show as well, coaches involved with the SaberCats program. But we also talked about the Raptors, football, and everything that you need to know. So make sure you check out those previous editions as well while you are on our page or any of our social media pages or our website, wherever you are listening to the show, to make sure you check those out. I have Jamie Antonello and Justin Hykel with me here tonight for tonight's edition. I'm going to bring in the boys in just a few seconds here. Just going to get through and finish off the introduction portion of the show and get into future shows of the Game Sports Show. We will be going outside at Northern Superior Brewing Company at Pier 55 starting next week, and the schedule may be changing next week from a Thursday show to Sunday. We will keep you updated with that throughout the summer. We are going to have a rotated schedule where Thursday and or Sunday, because we're going to have to gauge how the weather is. Because if it's nice, we're outside at the pier. If it's raining, unfortunately, and the way it's looking like with this weather in June, the wind and sometimes below 10 degrees, we may be inside the tap room or inside the brew house. Depends on what is weather circumstances. Definitely exciting. But next week, Monday, Wicked Sister Eagle 95.1. Tuesday, we make our debut as mentioned on Sault Online and on the Game Sports Show social media pages and throughout Facebook. A lot of shares today. Once thank you to all the listeners and friends of the show. We will be on Sault Online at 6:30. Be myself, Jamie Antonello is planned to be there. Dustin Grondin will be planned there as well, as he's decided he wants to take more of a full-time role today. He has mentioned inside the show, especially on the TV portion. And we also will have Craig Hartsburg as well come by the show. And Scott Nason and I will be running the ship on Tuesday from Sault Online. And then Wednesday and Thursday we'll have our usual shows, Sports Center and Northern Superior. But as I mentioned, Thursdays may be getting switched to Sunday, as I did look at the weather, fellas, and it seems like next week it is looking better. So we do plan to be at the pier actually outside on Sunday. So make sure you keep your eye on our social media pages, Facebook page, of the website, just for updates on that, where we're going to be at Northern, if it's inside or outside next week, and the respective dates. Now, without further ado, I want to bring in the boys that are joining me here tonight. The one only in front of me right now, donning and wearing the SaberCats sweater. Chirps me all the time because I spell SaberCats wrong. The one and only Jamie Antonello. Jamie, how you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. Classic long Dave intro. You're back. One show in, and we're back at her.
Lots of information today, especially at Sault Online.
It's a big time for us, and
yes.
I mean, I'm happy to hear that Dustin's going to be coming back in the fold. I mean, shocking that he wants to be seen on camera, but love you, Dust. No, lots to talk about. Last night I was a little bit bummed. I mean, I was super happy to be doing the podcast last night, but Stanley Cup Final Game 7 was going on while we were podcasting, so kind of got it in parts. I was able to watch highlights and as much as I could and pay attention to the celebration. We paused the show for the final couple minutes, but excited to talk about it tonight. And then even more excited to go watch the Raps after tonight.
We got lots of news, definitely, when it comes to National Hockey League in terms of discussions about the Stanley Cup final overall. We did not have a show last week from Northern. We postponed both our shows last week from SportsCenter and Northern in the dawn of my return. People are saying it's because Dave's coming back.
The dawn of my return.
In
that sounds epic.
You like that? No, but we had some scheduling conflicts on my end and everyone's end, so we had to move that. So we have lots to talk about the Stanley Cup final. We missed a lot of games that we'd like to talk about the entirety of the series. So we're going to talk about that, and that'll be right what we talk about in part 1 here. Part 2, we will talk about some local updates, in particular the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds and some other hockey news around town before we take our second break, and where on the third part of the show we'll be talking baseball and the local side of things with the news that we have, as well as professional news, in particular with David Ortiz. We did talk about it last night, and little brief points from SportsCenter in our intro, but we're going to get into more details and more reaction around the table here with myself, Jamie, and Justin. Now, Justin, speaking of you, dressed up nice today, my friend. Not that you don't dress nice. I'm just saying you're wearing a collared shirt right now.
Well, I mean, we're outside of hoodie season, so.
That's true.
Are we?
Well, I mean, we're halfway through June, and my furnace came on the other day, so.
Yeah, you never know anymore.
Summer's turning out great. I'm getting ready for, getting Thanksgiving stuff ready.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Getting my football season decorations out.
Yeah.
You getting Christmas decorations out too?
Not yet. No, I'm going to carve a pumpkin though.
Yeah, you should get that going.
Makes sense. That's a good call.
Definitely. And as Jamie said, it's a lot of exciting stuff coming with the show, and we have even more exciting news as the year goes on past September, as yours truly's and Scott Nason are working closely with some close school systems and different kind of progresses to see if we can keep and continue to expand the show. So we have a lot of announcements to make in the coming months. In the year. It's definitely exciting times for the Game Sports Show, and we're very excited to be joining the Sault Online family as we announced officially today, and guests that we have coming on. I did say, fellas, that I would mention guests that we have coming on, and just a few that I have locked in my phone right now. On our Tuesday show, as I mentioned, Craig Hartsburg will be there on the first show, and on the 19th next week, I could not get Chris to obviously do an audio live recording for our show next Thursday or Sunday because we were unsure which day we were going to be doing, but I will have a pre-recorded version with Chris Barkley. Chris Barkley. People do not know who that is. He's a country singer.
I was going to say cousin to Charles, but...
Loved You Like That, his new hit single that came out on Spotify, and his album that he's working on. He's going to come on. He's actually a big sports fan, in particular with the Toronto Maple Leafs, so he's going to be our fan guest and also special guest, which I'll be recording next week with him. We also will be having the Pilon twins later this month, who were part with the Sudbury Wolves. We have Brett Finley coming on in the beginning of July. We have Colin Miller coming on in the beginning to mid-July as well. And we're also planning to have Joe Bowen right after Free Agency Friends in that beginning of July as well. And also just on live TV, we have planned to get a lot more special guests in terms of local figures. Currently trying to work on getting a date set with Michael Amadio and some crew to come on the TV side and or the radio side. Fred Palapalisi, who's a goaltender with and friend of the show, Zach Turquato. I definitely pronounced his last name incorrectly. It's an Italian last name, but he's a great guy that I've been talking to on Instagram. He will be coming on the show as well in the beginning of July. So we've got lots of guests coming on, so it's definitely exciting times. So I said I would state who some of the guests are, and I wanted to announce it, didn't want to keep it inside. And make sure you keep an eye on our ticker and updates for when those guys are going to be particularly on the show. So we already know what we're talking about here in part one. I've already talked about what the agenda is going to be. Future agendas have wrapped up everything I think I can in the intro. I got a little bit toasted by Scott saying that I didn't mention his name in the intro last time or get the full agenda, so I made sure I didn't miss any details. And right now this introduction's at 8 minutes and 45 seconds of sorts. So that's back to almost normally what it was, but lots of information that we needed to touch up on. So, boys, before we even jump into the sports side, I said to Jamie I had something funny I wanted to bring up. And this was speaking of this, the intro that I forgot to bring up something yesterday. I felt like we had such a great show yesterday, but, missed a couple things in the intro because I was so excited to be back. Cora Colts.
Yes, sir.
High school team.
Oh, I know where you're going with this.
On Instagram, I saw on my beautiful feed of Instagram after scrolling through and seeing a picture of Jessica Alba on there and extra stuff on there that I enjoyed looking at. There was
a washing machine.
A washing machine from the Cora Colts have purchased a washing machine. Now, I'm not chirping Tommy Yanek because I'm afraid to, one. And
Oh,
two,
I mean, we all chirp him too. Let's be real.
And two, that is arguably one of the more cooler, most convenient things ever. Now, this is more of a football thing that I'm bringing up on this hockey, baseball / golf kind of show that we have here on the Thursday edition. But, Jamie, a washing machine, what brought that idea up? Do you know?
I mean, it's part of the program. You look at, you played junior hockey. You guys were able to get stuff washed, I'm assuming. Maybe.
Yeah.
Kind of, sort of.
It depends where you played.
Well, sure. But
yeah.
Junior hockey, like any CIS level sport, whatever, your gear, whatever, it gets cleaned by the team. There's people that handle it. At a high school level, has it been seen? Probably not. Not for not a lot of teams. But Tom's doing a great thing at Cora. I'm happy to have been a part of it for the last 6+ years. He's my guy. He's my mentor. I've talked about this ad nauseum. But his plan, he always has a co-op student throughout the year. Going to get them that'll be part of their job. So if guys have certain, like their undershirt they're always wearing, jerseys, pants. It's part of a look too, right? Because, I mean, teenagers are unfortunately unreliable most of the time.
Yep.
So the amount of kids that I would see show up in Cora, like the new unis that they got last year were the all-white throwbacks to the early 90s. You got to keep those clean. And, yes, we play on turf all the time. Practice on grass, though. So sometimes, like the day before the game, you put your full uni on especially before the first game, because it's the first time you put your uniform on for the season. It's nice to get the kinks out. Maybe you got a pair of medium pants on, you need a large. Maybe you got a pair of medium pants on, you need a small. Or you need a snack to fill out the medium pants. But
That's the story of my life. I've always wanted to wear medium pants and never been able to. So.
Yep. That's good. So that's you can follow at Core Football for Instagram.
It's huge for like parents too, because they
it
don't
is
have to
so
worry
convenient.
About. My mom still complains about cleaning my stuff when I was an athlete.
In high school, my mom used to make after game day, because the Rocky Field downtown was a mud hole.
Yeah.
I'd come home with my laundry, and my mom's like, "No, laundromat."
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I didn't have like a cell phone or anything.
Yeah, because they didn't want to use that in their laundry machine.
We had dial-up internet at home, so like my mom would drop me off at the laundromat. I'd just sit there.
Yeah, you just hang out,
wash my shitty football laundry.
Yeah.
Wow, you learned that the hard way.
Come back a couple hours later.
It sucked, man.
All done.
I begged my mom to wash it if I had.
I read a lot of Toronto Sun, looking at the Sunshine Girls.
Oh, there you go. Hey. Oh, there you go. Yeah, that almost ties in nicely with the Jessica Alba feed I was talking about. But I wanted to bring that up because I forgot to do it yesterday. Yeah. It would have made more sense.
Tom's next level, man. He gets it.
That Instagram's next level.
He gets it at an entire program level, right? And it helps too that he's so dialed in and he's a teacher in the school, right? That's half the battle, unfortunately. I'm not knocking any of the other football programs in the city, but I mean, Tom. It's a big thing with Tom's life. I mean, we've said it before. Matt said it before. Tom could be a CIS head coach if he wanted to.
Yep.
I mean, he's settled here. He's got a family. He's very happy, and the core program is benefiting from having him 100%.
Oh yeah, 150%.
It's
it's exciting. I had to bring up the OS. I definitely want to get him on. Hopefully this summer. I know I'm looking at you at that. Jamie, definitely get him on
for sure.
And we'll talk about the washing machine at length there. But now it's Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello and Justin Hykel inside the tap room at Northern Superior Brewing Company, where there's customers here, as always, drinking some delicious brew from Northern Superior. Lots of beer on tap here. And Blake is just doing a fantastic job with customer service.
I'm a little thirsty.
There was even somebody taking a picture of the mural outside.
We were dying.
People don't understand that the mural, we can actually see inside the mirror. It's a two-way. Thanks, Jamie.
Not one person waved back to us.
Yeah, it's
Hike and I were having a good laugh.
Yeah, it's good. You can see on the inside when it's night, but when it's daytime, can't really notice. But anyways, fellas, we got a show to talk about here. All the Lucy stuff gets started and everything is all gone. Let's jump into the Stanley Cup Finals. Gloria. Okay, you're on the run now. Okay. Lots of things I got to talk about the Stanley Cup Finals. We're going to make this a wide table discussion here. The Bruins lose in Game 7 to the St. Louis Blues by a score of 4-1. Jordan Binnington had a very strong game. Alex Pietrangelo, nice goal. Vladimir Tarasenko, as heard on Sean Avery's Instagram. Great fucking pass to Shen. Exactly what he said. You can listen to Sean Avery's story on Instagram. Love following him on Instagram.
4 more hours, it'll be up there. Yeah, Get on it.
It's fantastic.
Bike lane warrior.
Yeah. And the St. Louis Blues went into Boston and won Game 7. And we saw moments on that ice of people lifting the cup for the first time. We saw Sioux Boys Jordan Nolan, Chris Thorburn also know both those individuals. I'll be planning on getting them on sometime this summer, hopefully, and hopefully go take a picture when they have their Stanley Cup final, a Stanley Cup parade here in Sault, Ontario with that. But they win the Stanley Cup. Tyler Bozak, Justin Gunnarsson, Steen, some former Leafs getting successful winning the Cup. Seeing Brad Marchand cry, I'm sorry, I'm actually pretty relieved about that. Sucks to suck, man. I don't really care.
I said this earlier to Jamie. I wanted to pull a Cartman and lick his tears off his face and laugh at him. That's how good it felt watching him cry.
Yeah, and that's, you know what, people are saying to Leaf fans that maybe we're saying we could have been there and all that. I'm not saying that we would have beat Columbus or Carolina to get there, but the thing is, I think with the Bruins losing, the Leaf fans are a little bit more amped about it because they've lost them twice in decisive, twice. Sorry, they lost 2013 in
I wouldn't say decisive fashion. I mean, 2013 was just a blowout in game, and I mean this year was tough, right?
Yeah, Game 7 loss, right? But you have the situation with the Boston Bruins and Toronto Maple Leafs that maturity was there, and Boston deserved to get to the Stanley Cup Finals. They truly did. They were really a good hockey team. They worked hard, but I'm relieved to see that a team that hasn't won win the Stanley Cup. 52 years, St. Louis Blues wins the Stanley Cup. A lot of people win the Cup for the first time. It was great to see, and Lila Anderson being down there on the ice, that I actually shed a tear. Colin Parenko.
That's like Jamie and I were talking about this before you got here. Like the video her mom posted on Instagram. Like
when she went to Game 7?
I am, as a rule, a pretty heartless prick. Like most of the time, I can be pretty rough as far as my criticisms go.
We're also men.
Well, yeah, but like, come on, man, that video
melted me.
She's like, I get to go to Game 7. What did the doctor say? Oh my God!
And then she broke
That's
down. I was like,
I broke down when she broke down. That was.
And she said, "I love you" to her mother. Like that's
holy Christ.
And St. Louis, though, you got to give it up to St. Louis. They loved her there. They treated her fantastic. She loves the
like
Blues.
Boston wouldn't do that.
They did just treat David Ortiz.
I was going to say they got Poppy home.
Yeah, well, he had to be David Ortiz to do that.
It's true.
Here
now we're getting into territory.
Okay, now we'll talk about that. But that was so great to see, and she loves Colton Parenko. You know, as I think Sean Avery called Colton Parenko on Instagram. Parasenko.
That was pretty funny.
Which was good. You know, I think that's funny. And then he calls Chara an amphibian. Can't forget that, right?
A large amphibian. That's my favorite quote from that entire story.
Oh, that and the little Boston leprechauns.
That was pretty good.
And the reason why
it's a little bit not safe for work, but that one's really good.
And the reason why we're talking about Sean Avery's Instagram because it's absolutely hilarious. And
if you don't follow Sean Avery and you're a hockey fan, get on it.
Yeah, you have to get on it. Especially, he gave a lot of love to the Leafs when they were playing Boston. He just does not like Boston. I think that's pretty evident. But it's
I think Avery just kind of wants to be a Leafs fan because he likes everyone hating him.
Yeah,
he thrives on it, man. That was his whole career.
He feeds off people shit talking.
Guys forget, or people forget, fans forget that he was a pretty good hockey player. He wasn't that bad of a hockey player.
The Sean Avery rule.
They made a rule.
Standing in front of Bruder, waving his stick around like me with the rake chasing the bird.
What are you, 95
getting
years
cats
old?
out of the tree?
They were eating my peppers.
I like that, eating the peppers. But you have Ryan O'Reilly, who wins the Conn Smythe Trophy. Fantastic. Well-deserving. You have Jordan Binnington, who had a stellar rookie year. And here I am saying that I see a lot of Andrew Raycroft in him, and I hope that I'm wrong. I just see a lot of stance and a lot of play like him. Maybe he won't be like him. Maybe he'll be what Andrew Raycroft should have been.
I was going to say, that's a kiss of death if I've ever heard
one. It's Jordan Binnington.
Dave's good at that with certain players.
Jordan Binnington just stood on his head, and Tuukka Rask, you know what? When the Blues went up 1-0 in that middle late to first period, the big reason why, because Rask only faced 2 shots at that point, and it went 16 minutes without a shot.
Yeah.
People think that Rask is in the NHL, you're always prepared, et cetera, but Rask is a type of goalie that thrives on being busy. He's one of those goalies, and he's one of those momentum-type goalies, and he had the screen, and Ryan O'Reilly was able to tip the puck past him. I think after that, Tuukka was cold. He got another goal scored against him right before the end of the first period with Pietrangelo.
Well, they also went on a bit of a drought after they scored the goal of shots, right? So it was like he's cold, shot in, cold, and then flurry at the end of the period. That's a tough beat for a goaltender. I mean, you only had 6 or 7 shots in the whole first period. Yep.
And then the second period wasn't much different either.
And a lot of St. Louis's shots were coming from the outer perimeter too.
Yeah.
There wasn't. Not a lot of those shots were coming in tight.
No.
And that was both ways, but
for sure. I mean, it's kind of Game 7. Teams are testing each other out. They've
It's just, that's how it's going to go, though. That's how the playoffs go.
It's all about bounces.
Yeah.
Arguably, Binnington outplayed Rask that game. Arguably and obviously, in my opinion.
I just don't want to take anything away from Rask's playoffs. I'm not one to credit a Boston player for anything. If
you're not, you're right.
But he had a really good playoff.
He was solid.
If he didn't have that good of a game, well, don't get me wrong, the special teams of Boston was really clicking in Game 6, but Tuukka had a strong game in the Enterprise Center in St. Louis, Missouri in Game 6. So
I just don't think Boston had enough depth last night.
See, and then you have Brad Marchand after the game saying that they took our dream. As everyone can know, I'm not really a huge Brad Marchand fan.
That was a tough speech. I mean, Josh, you and I were talking about it off air.
If I go my life with not having the Leafs win a Stanley Cup, but I get to see him cry,
you're okay.
I'm okay.
And people forget he did win a cup.
Well, that's the thing. He won
against Vancouver Canucks.
Tim Thomas was the goalie then, though.
Yeah.
Right? So.
Yeah, Tuukka was.
I think he was a backup.
Backup.
Yeah.
So he was in the realm, but now Tuukka's lost to Chicago at home for the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did. 2013. You know why that's extra gravy for me? Because they were up 2 goals in the final couple minutes, and Boston scored 2 goals. No, they're up 1 goal. And Chicago got 2 goals in the last 2 minutes to win the Stanley Cup. David Bolin got the winner. Yeah.
And,
characteristics of a Leaf draft pick.
Yes. Wow, after Toronto signed him, he went downhill. But again, now you have this game against St. Louis where St. Louis goes in, wins the Stanley Cup, their first time in 52 years, and they kind of rewrite the history. Last time you see St. Louis and Boston against each other in the Stanley Cup final, you have that historic. That is probably top 5 most historic pitchers in hockey, I would say. Bobby Orr's goal might even be one of the most historic. You got it. Close. It's pretty close.
You wouldn't get much argument out of me, to be honest.
No, and that goal was legendary. And St. Louis was behind all that. Now you just rewrite history. And you know what? Everyone on St. Louis yesterday stood up. In the whole series, St. Louis, people were doubting St. Louis because of Boston's compete level. St. Louis has that. But when you think of St. Louis, and I saw some people today at my full-time job, I saw people out just down at the Tim Hortons getting coffee, not there for whatever for any personal reasons or anything of such, and also texting with all the announcements with the Sault Online today, getting texts and just with coworkers in this conversation. And the frequent thing that I heard was that St. Louis Blues don't really have a superstar, is what they were saying. And I would give the comment where Pietrangelo is on the cusp of that. Ryan O'Reilly.
He's a dominant defenseman in the league, for sure. Yes.
And I would say Ryan O'Reilly isn't the guy that before this season that I would have picked to be, my 2 centers. I'm picking Matthews, Tavares, McDavid, Malkin, Crosby. I'm picking guys ahead of him still at this current time. But the Blues showed, much like what Vegas did last year, it's obviously a different story with Vegas because they lost.
There's a lot going on there.
But St. Louis has a bunch of guys that are on the team that are good hockey players, but also play the system.
St. Louis, to me, played the most complete team game I've seen in a long time.
Yep.
And Jamie and I were talking about this earlier, just the forwards for the Blues, the amount of the two-way game of the forwards, you didn't see that on any other team in the playoffs. You imagine
not consistently game in and game out.
Maybe Columbus against Tampa when they swept the floors.
Yeah, but that's one series.
That is one series.
Boston never had really any odd man rushes. St. Louis's defense always had help.
Yep.
Always had help. And I mean, that goes to the shots only coming from the perimeter.
You know who stood out to me a little bit? St. Louis, people can be surprised, but yeah, I know Avery's a big fan of Bo Meester. Pietrangelo and Parenko are guys that you notice on the ice, period. But Vince Dunn.
Well, I was going to say, Vince Dunn had a hell of a playoffs. And
Gunnarsson wasn't bad. He wasn't the Carl Gunnarsson I remember watching in 2013 against the Boston
Bruins. He melted down against the Bruins. He's not going to do that.
Him and Cody Franson, buddy.
Especially after the piss talk in Game 1.
Yeah, and Greg Baribe, this team, which was fantastic.
Did you say Greg?
I said Craig. No, I said Craig. Okay. I said Craig that time.
So we're doing the Greg and Craig thing.
Rewind it.
But he went into this team, and this team was in last place at the end of January. Last place.
Start of January.
Start of January.
Regardless, it's still a ridiculous feat, but
they're the worst team in the National Hockey League. You're talking Jack Hughes in the same sentence as St. Louis at that current time. There was people may not remember this. Bartuzzo.
You're talking 31-31 at that point.
And you remember Robert Bartuzzo fighting with his teammates at practice. and Steve Aud trying to break it up, and that team was just dysfunctional. I remember sitting on the show, Justin, me, you, and Dane, and I believe that time we had Johnny Parker here from the Thunderbirds, and we were talking about it off air, and how of a joke that is, with that team's a joke. Then all of a sudden, Jake Allen takes a back seat. Jordan Binnington gets a chance. No pressure, comes in.
Jordan Winnington.
But then
legit.
You sit down, have a team meeting, so you got to smarten the fuck up, and they did. And they put they showed what they really can do, because St. Louis always had the talent to be a playoff team.
Well, for sure.
They're
Justin,
a deep
what
team.
Well, and you were telling me off air what the GM came in and told them.
Yeah, he said it's after they fired was Mike Yeo. They fired. He went into the locker room and he told him. He said, if I can go back in time and redo this, I would still draft the same players, I would still make the same trades, and I would still sign the same free agents. We're in this. You're the players that I wanted, and you're the players that I can see doing this. So
that's a landmark moment.
I mean, I really think that Doug Armstrong's probably an A1 GM too. That's
and he's been pretty devoted to the St. Louis Blues organization.
Did you see
Brett Hall too?
The Blues greats.
I don't think Brett Hall's remembered the whole.
Did you
series.
see his nipple touching on Instagram?
Yeah,
it said St. Louis, and the caption was St. Louis fans walking to work this morning.
Hilarious. I thought it was classic.
And I want to party with Brett Hall.
Not one.
Arguably, he won the Stanley Cup on a controversial goal, but that's another story.
Wow. Okay, but I mean, Brett Hall partying this whole series has been amazing. I don't think he's actually watched. Well, I don't think he's actually consciously watched a minute of hockey.
No, he's just been.
he's been Ovechkin.
Yeah, he's been an absolute piss tank.
Brad Hull is going to follow the cup around this entire summer, just partying with everyone.
And you got to give credit to the city of St. Louis, because they filled the Enterprise Center yesterday and Busch Stadium
in the rain.
Yeah, in the rain. And Busch Stadium, if people don't understand who know where Busch Stadium or what they do, that is where the St. Louis Cardinals of the MLB play. The St. Louis Rams didn't play at a Busch Stadium, I don't believe.
No, they played at the Edward Jones Dome.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. So
I was obviously the Dome. I don't remember the name, though.
They were the LA. Now they're the LA Rams, obviously no longer in St. Louis. But
ask me what my phone number is. I can't tell you, but I can tell you the Edward Jones Dome.
The Edward Jones Dome.
There's a video. Name. I think Barstool had it up earlier today of a bunch of Blues fans, like a bunch, all together trying to rock the arch back and forth.
Amazing. I didn't see that, but
that's fantastic.
Classic.
That's good stuff.
But isn't that great to see, though, a team who hasn't won win, though? That is what I'm excited about. If Boston would have won, number one, would be upset being a Leaf fan, but two,
the Patriots won already this year, and everyone was mad at that.
Sorry, Boston fans.
Oh, here, I'll put it this way, though. It's nice to see a city that's not, I mean, you think of, those 10 major markets. You think of Philly, Boston, New York, L.A., certain markets that it's okay, they're used to winning. They have historic franchises, whatever. It's nice to see St. Louis, a city who, I mean, yes, they had the Rams and
they lost their football
with Kurt
team,
Warner.
Man.
They needed something, right?
Yeah, they did win with Kurt, right? You said?
Yeah, they went to back-to-back Super Bowls. They won with Kurt, and
that's
right. Greatest show on turf. Yeah.
So that is, with the city of St. Louis, their big sport is baseball. People may not know that, but the Cardinals sell out Busch all the time.
It's Middle America, man.
The Cardinals are extremely loved in St. Louis, and St. Louis has been around.
The Chiefs are pushing for it.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you got Kansas City up there. That's right.
The
True.
Chiefs
Good
are pushing
point.
it.
But you have St. Louis right now, the Blues, who have been around the National Hockey League, for 50-plus years, and they finally get to this point. And they've had good teams for many years. Not I don't want to say they're at San Jose Shark level from before, where they made the conference finals 6 times and lost to either LA or Chicago, but you have the Blues, who've always been a successful organization going, and then this year everyone had them written off, and the guy who bet Vegas would, or bet in Vegas,
$400 bet,
$400 bet turned $100
Let's go.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's good stuff. I mean, if I could go to Vegas every year,
I love the fact that it's a reasonable bet. It's not $10,000 down. $400 is half a paycheck for most people. Most working class people, that's about half a paycheck.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a large chunk of money. I mean, you're talking about a big bill or part of your rent money and something, but I mean, it's a reasonable amount, which is, so it's turned into $100,000. Let's go, buddy.
Yeah, you just made a year's salary.
Well, I would definitely need that money to attend my team's parade and shenanigans.
I'm going to get myself out of debt, selling my face off, buy a car, gone.
Now, Lila Anderson will definitely be on the float in the parade.
Oh, 100%. Oh, 100%. There's no way she isn't.
I hope she gets her own day with the cup.
I think she'll.
Oh, I never thought of that.
I
That's
legit think
pretty cool.
And I think if they don't give her one, I think a couple of the players would be we will sacrifice our day or whatever, or because
Or come with us on
No,
our
well,
day.
see, that's hard, though, because it was a big thing for her to be able to go to Boston, right? That was the whole reason, because of how sick she is, and the doctors had to approve it. So I think they will probably spend a few days in St. Louis.
I feel like the team's got some pull.
They'll for sure do something. Oh, 100%.
I think in that situation, you tell Bettman. That's where you can tell Bettman, hey, or the. Well, obviously, I think it goes through Bettman.
I don't think you have to tell anyone. If anyone tries to, we're giving the cup to this girl for a day. If someone says no, I'll personally go to St. Louis and powerbomb them.
Yeah. Tombstone pile driver. How's that?
Maybe.
Shatter their vertebrae.
All the good Canadian boys all the good Canadian farm boys on St. Louis. So
Speaking of that,
give them the business. Let's go.
70. Thanks for reminding me, Jamie. 70% of the St. Louis roster is Canadian.
What was it,
the
17
highest in the National Hockey League.
How many times have we seen that happen, though? It's a trend.
It is a trend. I'm not being conceited.
Two of Chicago's Cups, they were the same team.
Yep.
Same deal.
I think that's like the highest percentage of Sault Ste. Marie people on a cup team.
But
absolutely.
overall, boys,
Honestly,
Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello, Justin Hykel on the taproom of Northern Superior Brewing Company. Grade the Stanley Cup final. Jamie, I'll start with you. Grade it.
Grade it?
Entertainment, games. You name it. You grade
well,
it.
anytime it goes to Game 7, I think you got to give it a B minimum. Be my opinion.
Okay.
I think that's fair grading.
Sure.
A minus.
Okay. What would have been better for you to see?
Overtime.
Okay.
Game 7 overtime.
St. Louis winning in St. Louis, do you think?
Yeah. Okay. Here's what a recipe for success would be, like an A+ game. An A+ Game 7 would be completely back and forth. You got to have dramatic storylines. I think those were nailed down. I don't think we have to worry about that. Both, I mean, from the St. Louis side, there's good storylines,
especially outside
back.
of the game, right?
Yeah, I think, and then I think a 1-goal game going overtime, or a game-winning goal with like less than a couple minutes left in the third. The fact that it was a bit of a blowout Game 7 doesn't diminish the fact that St. Louis won it all. I think it diminishes it in like the history books. Like when you look back at it, whatever, they still won it. I mean, you can't take anything away from St. Louis, but if they were to win in overtime on home ice, I probably would have given it a A to A+.
Nice.
I don't
So
know.
you give it
It's
an
hard
A
to grade
minus,
it,
right?
right?
So you're grading an A minus.
I'm going
Justin?
A minus.
I think I don't know. I give it A+ because they went into Boston and they won it there.
Oh,
You know what I mean? Like
There's credit for that.
the Boston fans were leaving with 5 minutes left in the game.
which is awesome.
Like that, nothing. Like I don't know. I think that that little girl is a huge rallying point for
Absolutely.
the team going through the playoffs. I think that's an awesome story. And
Jenna Fisher and
honestly wish her like all the success
John
going
Krasinski.
forward
Thanks.
too.
Yeah.
Now that the spotlight's gone from her.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, A+. Like it was back and forth. Like I'm gonna call him Winnington for the summer now.
Why wouldn't you?
But Binnington's like his bounce back after bounce back after bounce back. Like that's I don't know. I thought he was unreal. Ryan O'Reilly was unstoppable. I think a goal in every game in the Stanley Cup final.
the first player since Wayne Gretzky in 1985 to get goals in Stanley Cup finals 4 games in a row.
So I mean, and
crazy.
the Blues set all kinds of Stanley Cup records too.
Yeah.
But
Play Gloria.
I don't know. It was a good story, and I'm genuinely happy for the Blues fans.
Oh, 100%.
Like that's any fan base that's been deprived of a championship for that long and has had the shit that they've had happen. Like the Rams leaving. In recent memory, the Rams were pretty unbelievable until Mark Bulger showed up, and then they just leave town. You get Todd Gurley, and the Rams leave town.
Yeah.
See ya.
Sorry, we have the best running back in the NFL. We're going to LA now.
It's so great to see them win. A team that hasn't won. Right.
it's
That's
awesome
the whole
for 'em.
point of it all.
So I don't know. I give it an A+. That's
like
it was
that.
it was good. It was it dragged out hockey as long as it possibly could for the year. Like what else could you ask for? It was a good storyline. It was every game was watchable. So, I mean, we've gone through Cup finals where anytime the New Jersey Devils have been involved, you don't want to watch it. It's boring.
No. One of the worst Stanley Cup finals I think I've watched is the Los Angeles Kings and New Jersey Devils.
Oh, that was terrible.
That was the
Every
worst Stanley
game
Cup
was
finals.
awful, but you had to watch it because there was nothing else.
Sorry
on.
to LA
That was a
fans,
bad
but
series, you're right.
That was horrible. But I'll say, to wrap up the point, boys, is I'll have to go with an A+ as well. And yes, the storylines inside and outside of hockey. Brad Marchand crying, that's definitely on the top of my list. Them winning in Boston, Justin couldn't agree more.
If you weren't a diehard Leafs fan, what would be your grading then?
Still
A+
an A+.
still.
Oh, okay. All right.
A+ still. If I can do plus, but that's inappropriate.
Well, even
I got to keep it professional
I don't
as
want
much
to
as I can.
I don't want
here.
to jump in on Dave's, but I mean, just like to credit Boston a little bit.
But you do want to jump in on it.
I'm doing it anyways. I thought of something else.
Yeah, you go.
Well, Chara. You know what I mean? Like him.
Guy had a
coming back.
broken jaw and he played hockey.
Gutty.
Well, it's like how's the chin strap situation work when your jaw's fucking shattered?
Doesn't he have it wired shut? But even with the chin strap thing, it's all wired.
And then at Game 6, someone was punching him in the mouth in front of the net after the whistle. Like,
he's a large amphibian. He can take it.
He can take that. But I'll say A+ because of the storylines in and out of the game. Ryan O'Reilly, seeing Leafs lift the cup, and the Leaf fans find that hard? No. Very happy Bozak got to lift the cup. Steen, Gunnarsson, and 2 Sioux boys. Chris Thorburn, Jordan Nolan lifted the Stanley Cup, and Lila Anderson also lifted the Stanley Cup. Just everything was fantastic. I'm a big Colton Parenko fan.
I guess I'm just like kind of holding out for some like crazy historic like NHL
Bobby Orr-esque
moment. You know, that's what I mean. Like I think that's what I'm kind of holding out for.
I'm waiting.
Not that I'm trying. I mean, I guess it's good to have different.
I'll give it an A+.
If we all would have said A+.
I'll give it A++
boring,
when Toronto lifts the cup. Okay,
well,
so
we know.
A++++.
You're going to lose the grade scale. When
I think I might. I'm literally.
Toronto wins the cup.
We won't be recording the day after. When Toronto wins the cup.
I'm going to run to Toronto for the parade.
Recording live.
Running there.
We're going on scene. I'm on the float.
Yeah, we're going on scene.
I'm recording out of the Stanley Cup.
I'm definitely trying this year is getting a hold of Kyle Dubas. Got a lot of questions to ask that man.
If the Raptors win tonight, are we going to go to Toronto for the parade? Is that a thing that we do?
That could be in the budget. Thinking we got some good sponsors, extra sponsors now. We could work on that.
I'm worried for Toronto when they win, though.
Oh, I like the win. Fellas, we're going to go to a commercial. I'm getting the beep. We're 8 minutes over the part.
Shocking.
But that's fine. We haven't done that in a while. So we're loud. And it's my
Since
first
last
night. No, it's like last night, I guess, the football one. But you had a great conversation. That was great. But obviously the first show will be back here at Northern. We got part 2 to talk about. Part 2 will be a little bit shorter. We're going to talk some little bit news in the National Hockey League with rumors. And then before we wrap up part 2, we'll talk about some local news updates with the Hounds making a trade, etc., and some signings. Part 3 will be about the MLB, and obviously we'll talk about David Ortiz quickly. You know what's going to be funny before we even go to break? When we're on television, they are recorded when we do half-hour shows. It's either 3/8, or we do 1:12, 1:6, 1:4. It's 1:12, 6, and 6. Sorry. We have 8-minute segments before commercials.
I thought you were doing fractions. You're saying like 1 12-minute segment, 1 6. No. Okay, I'm with you now.
We have 3 8-minute segments. Or if we have an hour, we do 4 12s. Yeah, we have to adjust our radio times. I've definitely got a lot of texts about that today. It's definitely going to be something to see what we can do in a matter of 8 minutes.
I mean, podcasts, you're not supposed to have any rules. So.
Yeah, that's the whole point. And I can't wait till we're on Spotify.
So you can do it in a matter of 8 minutes. What do you do at the other 7.5?
That was a bit of a mic drop moment, though.
Did you see that, the Spotify? Caught that? Yeah, okay. Like that. New entrance music, too.
I've been pushing the Spotify thing pretty hard. So.
Yeah, that's all thanks
to it. Needs to happen.
It needs to happen. Dave McCaig, Jamie Antonello, Justin Hykel, Northern Superior Brewing Company, Tap Room, the Game Sports Show, Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we got some more hockey news to talk about. Don't go anywhere. The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a Northern thing.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank an additional sponsor and special edition home to the game, Silver Creek Golf Course, located on 104 Bellow Lake Road, Garden River, Ontario. And also shout out thank you to Silver Creek GM Jamie Henderson. Silver Creek Golf Course has many specials to offer for 18 holes, 9 holes, and even Twilight Deal specials. It does not matter what your level of golf game is, it is a must to enjoy the scenic course, memorable experiences that Silver Golf Course offers. Silver Creek also offers a Thursday wing night for you to enjoy food after a stellar time on the course. You can book your tee time by phone or online at golfsilvercreek.com. Silver Creek Golf Course, where all are welcome to play.
You can follow The Game Sports Show on Facebook and Instagram at The Game Sports Show.
Hi, it's Craig Hartsburg, former NHL player and NHL coach. Welcome to The Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello and Justin Hykel inside the tap room at Northern Superior Brewing Company. We're getting into part 2 of tonight's edition, June the 13th, 2019. We just talked about the Stanley Cup final in its entirety, about 7 minutes more than we were supposed to, but that's fine because it was a great Stanley Cup final. The St. Louis Blues win the Stanley Cup for the first time in franchise history. Great storylines in and outside of the game. Definitely touching. Love it. Couldn't have asked for almost a better cup final, but as Jamie said, depends if there's some more historic moments in terms of goals or if there's another team involved.
Pessimistic
I like that, though.
Guys,
I like that. I was just excited to see the Boston Bruins on the losing side again in the Stanley Cup to a team that hasn't won in quite some time, and seeing St. Louis win the Cup, fantastic, especially Ryan O'Reilly. In the words of Sean Avery, what a beautiful man.
Is it better? Okay, just curious question for you guys. Is it better for you guys to watch Boston or Montreal lose in devastating fashion?
Boston.
Okay. All right. I was just curious.
Montreal's Canadian.
I'm going to say something right
that
now.
helps them.
Montreal.
Yeah, okay.
The rivalry between Toronto and Montreal is epic. It is. But this is me taking off my sports host hat right now and pretending I'm just that I'm just someone yelling in the background at the Northern Superior Sports Center right now at us, like we had yesterday. Someone tried to pull off a headset off one of our guys.
Hilarious moment.
Yeah, someone tried to pull off one of the headsets.
I had Christian and Brandon on, their coaches with me for the SaberCats. One of Christian's buddies came up behind him.
Andrew Barbo's
bad radio.
I'm throwing his name.
He literally pulled the headphones off of his head. And then he had to be like, I'm on a podcast, bro.
Yeah, I kept it.
You can kind of hear it, but it's really funny.
It is funny.
That's a good moment.
But I would say right now that I would dislike Boston more than Montreal.
All right, fair enough.
So that's why.
Not to get us off topic, but it was just a curious thing that popped in my head.
Now, moving on to kind of the rumors and news of parts of the National Hockey League, it is going to be a very exciting NHL offseason, okay? In my opinion, unless there's going to be all this hype and all these rumors just going to lead up to something. But I haven't seen rumors like this in quite some time. And I want to go towards the Toronto Maple Leaf route right now first before we kind of jump into some other news and rumors.
We'll get it off our chest here.
Yeah? Okay. Well, Patrick Marleau's rumors have been swirling. It seems like days before. I think the Maple Leafs are almost waiting for the Toronto Raptors to win and let that settle before they make some news, almost, it seems like.
I've got...
Well, it gets swept under the rug otherwise.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
No one in Toronto cares about hockey right now.
Patrick Marleau and an asset, which is going to be a Connor Brown. In my opinion, it will not be Kapanen. If someone says Kapanen, I strongly disagree. Kapanen is not just a prime asset. He is actually a high potential prime asset, is what I'm going to call it. Because Kasperi Kapanen has the ability to be a top 6 forward. Connor Brown is a 20-goal scorer, but I really don't think, unless he's maybe given Sidney Crosby, maybe there's a hint, unless he's given Sidney Crosby or something, that he might get another 25 goals. Okay? Like, I really don't think that he is. I have respect for Connor Brown, the way that he is as a player, but I don't think it's a huge loss for the Maple Leafs if we do lose Connor Brown because of what we have in the system. What we have in the system in Toronto, and I mean we speaking that I'm the Toronto Maple Leafs right now, so that's very bad. Let me edit that out right now and say,
you me?
If you're the Toronto Maple Leafs perspective, I'm saying if I'm the GM of Toronto, I'm Kyle Dubas, I'm saying that Connor Brown maybe isn't a big loss to the team in that aspect. If you're able to dump Marleau's contract with the ability to sign Patrick Marner, wow, I'm combine them, Mitchell Marner. Okay, if you have that ability, Mitch Marner is more of an impact on that team than Austin Matthews is. I'm sorry. And John Tavares. That's been proven.
I think a large portion of Leafs fans would agree with you, and I mean,
right?
I agree with
when
you.
When Matthews was hurt, who took over?
Yeah, but I think Marner's success is also hinging on Tavares' existence.
Sure, but was he not successful when he had Tyler Bozak too, though?
He was, but when he has Tavares, though, look at how much better he was.
I think he had 13 less points than last year, or 13 more points.
What's your bottom line point, though, you're trying to make here?
Bottom line point is Patrick Marleau will be moving on. I think he will be a Coyote. In my early bird opinion, so will Connor Brown. Connor Brown will be flipped to Pittsburgh in a trade
from
that
Arizona.
might involve. I think Phil Kessel will allow himself to go to Arizona potentially.
Fill the thrill,
or in a 3-way trade with Minnesota, not Minnesota.
There.
Sorry, if they he might be looking at another Canadian team that he can play with, and the Oilers are actually looking at making a move. Maybe that's an option. Yeah. But my whole point is I'm not veering off into rumors and ideas that I've read. Patrick Marleau being a Coyote is going to happen. Zaitsev being a Canuck, I think, will happen as well. That opens up the cap space to sign Mitch Marner. Then you still have almost $7 or $8 million in cap space. You move Connor Brown. That's another $2 million moved out. You go get a defenseman. Hopefully you make a trade to bring a defenseman. But I love Tyler Myers. I've said it on this show. I'm a huge fan of Tyler Myers. I want Tyler Myers.
He's another large amphibian to throw in the pile.
I think you can get him for $5.5, and I think you can get him for $3-4 million. And when I read articles about Toronto potentially wanting to re-sign Jake Gardiner, I want to jump out the nearest window.
I'm not shocked.
Nothing makes me happier than those rumors every day because I know how mad Dave.
I can't even handle that.
Like it doesn't. I want to tag you in them, and I know it's not even worth it.
I honestly
because you're
really
looking
hope
at them anyways.
I really Here's my hope for this summer is you get Dubas on at one point. Because that'd be a huge
I
interview for us.
I want Jake Gardiner
after
first.
They re-sign Gardiner.
Yeah.
Because Dubas,
I ask him what the fuck you were thinking? Is that appropriate to ask Dubas?
No. I don't know how good of a guy he is.
I still don't mind Jake Gardiner. Again,
we talked about this.
If they sign him for more than $5 million, if they re-sign him,
that's too much. But still,
yeah,
I think 3.5.
The hard thing though is like guys push the market now. Like look at what Carson Wentz just signed in the NFL.
The thing though,
guys push the market.
Like right now, today, like the deal would look terrible, but in 2 years.
Yep.
But we're looking at one thing, and this is where I'm going to jump with the forwards. I've already mentioned where Marleau and that's going to go. Kadri. Apparently, Sean Avery breaks that he's Winnipeg and Toronto have a done deal. We don't know. And if that is true.
Is Kadri still under contract?
Oh, yeah. He's 3 more years, 4.5.
I thought he had
Trouba
for Trouba.
For Trouba, that is the confirmed rumor with Avery. But Trouba will only sign for $5 million. He will be affordable. I think that's a great trade. You only sacrifice $500K. I think moving over Nylander to center is a good idea. The guy tore up the Worlds. There's a player available as well.
True. He led the tournament in points.
Yeah, but I think he was a winger.
I don't know.
Yeah, both. Same thing. Zach Kassian is a free agent. That guy needs to be wearing a Maple Leaf fucking jersey next year.
Adds a toughness level to the team.
Oh, my Christ. You put that on the fourth line or third line, or you put that with Matthews, because he also proved that he can score goals with McDavid. And I'm sorry, McDavid's better than Matthews as and Tavares.
He kind of falls in that role of like the
I will tell you right now, I've said Kassian and Myers, if you add those two players, you will get past the first round. Second round, maybe third, and you might fucking lift a cup next year.
If Trevor Moore doesn't get time on the first and second line next year, I'm going to have a stroke. I
can't see him playing above fourth line because of Babcock.
But
I can't see that.
That drives me insane.
Yes,
the guy has so much fucking energy.
Sometimes all it takes is a little bit of a jolt.
He goes into the court. He does everything. No one on
he does the stuff that the St. Louis Blues forwards
He does the stuff that no one on those top two lines is doing because they don't get paid to do that.
And realistically, when you move Marleau and Zaitsev, you sign Marner, but then you can still re-sign Janssen and Kapanen and bring in a defenseman and a cheap forward.
Well, I think
so. You have money.
I unfortunately think Kapanen's going to be a victim of circumstances.
He might get for a defenseman if he can't sign
as much as I like him, but I think out of the two of them, Janssen's more affordable based on the season that he had.
Yeah, and he has good chemistry.
You can
with
leverage
Matthews.
that against him.
And that's where at the end of the day, Marner, you had just recently. This will be news tied to this. Jeff Skinner signs for a $9 million extension in Buffalo. That is an overpayment. I am sorry for anybody.
We just talked about those. The way the market goes, right? Guys push the market.
Stone
and the
gets
but
9.5 Mark Stone. I would give Mark Stone $9.5 million.
Yeah, but you already you.
What does that say for Panarin? Panarin's better than Skinner is.
No, I don't. But
Artemi Panarin. Did I say it wrong to you? Panarin? No, did I say it too?
Panarin, dude.
Oh, no, it's Panarin.
I don't think so.
I think it's Panarin.
It is
to be honest.
Panarin.
Yeah.
Okay, point
you
is,
added an N. That's
Panarin and
you got really excited about it.
Yeah, that's but he will be in Florida, as I predicted him. And Bobrovsky is my rumor since 2 months ago. But what's he going to ask? 9? Is he worth 9?
Well, that's the going rate. I mean, Buffalo. I don't think
that's the way professional sports
Phil Kessel's a steal. Then Phil Kessel is a freaking steal.
Skinner's not a bad deal at $9 million. That Buffalo pulled the Kawhi thing.
I don't think they
had a year to sell him on the team. He's got Jack Eichel as a center.
Mm-hmm.
Buffalo has good things up and coming, but they just
why wouldn't you sign there? I got Jack Eichel to do the work for me. Perfect.
Done.
I see why he would sign, but as a Buffalo fan, I think he should be pissed.
I don't. Why not? This is coming from the team that signed Kyle Okposo for $7 million a year for 322 years. Come on now.
No,
Skinner at $9 million is fucking steal. At the rate that they're paying players, Skinner should have made $18 million a season if Okposo's worth.
No. And that's where I'm saying you will see a re-signing with Marner, but trades with Marleau and Zaitsev are going to be evident, I think, within the coming week.
I want to kind of roll back where we need to eat some crow on this show where we talk about overpayment and not overpayment, because Draisaitl last year we were shitting all over that guy. He got overpaid at $6.5 million. Is it $8? Okay, whatever, but he got overpaid. And then look at this year. Is that overpaid or is that convenient and helpful?
That's very helpful.
So it's.
But as you're saying, Skinner's Draisaitl.
I'm saying
Draisaitl's a beast.
That's why they call it a hot take.
Yeah.
I don't feel hot. I feel chill.
I feel hot.
I feel chilled right now because of this beer, and I also feel chilled because I think Skinner's
because of the weather outside. But
the guy has had concussion issues. You get a guy like Zach Cassian,
or you get a team that wants to take care of him because they have other players that can fill the scoring void if he's going to be out.
Yeah.
Tyler Ennis, another guy in Toronto that I'd like to see come back, but he might want a little bit of a raise.
That's fine.
But that's
I think he earned it.
He's a good fourth line guy who can play first line minutes. I think he has more of a chance. Would have a chance to move up the lineup more than Moore, but Moore will be a full-time player in that Leaf lineup.
He better be, or I'll be very upset. I think he was one of the best players in the playoffs. Not that my opinion holds anything with the Leafs management. But
no, here's the thing. I want to say one more.
Unfortunately, no. I
thought Babs had it on speed dial.
The last person of the Toronto Maple Leafs organization to respond to one of my letters was Felix Potvin. So
nice. I like that.
I got an autographed picture.
Cat, baby.
I still got the letterhead and everything.
I love it.
Nice letterhead.
Nice.
See, now, when you think of also potential trades, Colin Miller.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we talked about that last night a little bit.
We did. I think the reason we have him on in July, and we'll see where he is in July. If Vegas moves him, they are stupid. That's all I'm going to say. For his cap hit that he is.
He's an incredibly reasonable cap hit.
Oh, yeah. That's why Dubas has to be drooling about that.
Well, here's the thing, too. I mean, I love Colin, but he had a career year right before he got signed. Good for him.
As he should.
And he didn't. I mean, he kind of went up and down the lineup a little bit last year. Was in and out with injuries.
The whole
lineup
was up and down.
Exactly. There's nothing to fault him.
Yep.
But you just got to wait and see what Vegas does.
Like the adrenaline off the first year of playing in Vegas too has to.
Oh, it makes a difference. He's talked about it. I mean, I'm still friends with Colin. I mean, I see him like once or twice a year. But I mean, he's really, really good buddies with a couple of my close friends. We all grew up together, all the same age, and played hockey throughout. But that locker room was just something special that year, and he's talked about that.
Yep, and he said that. He said, one thing that sticks out to me is Nathan McKinnon's the hardest guy to play against. I like that.
Nice.
I like hearing that. Yep.
Really?
Yeah,
take it from.
He missed that part on the show, I think.
Take it from a pro.
Connor McDavid's a guy that they obviously talk about, Sidney Crosby, but he was someone to really stick out and say that Nathan McKinnon.
Something in the water in Cole Harbour.
Yeah, I guess so.
No,
maybe the harbor.
Maybe it's the Timbits.
That too.
I mean, it hasn't worked for me.
Or the Zamboni fumes as they go through the drive-through.
Now, you have the Edmonton Oilers made some big changes. Obviously, you have Ken Holland there as well, who I think is going to be a good addition, I think, for the Edmonton Oilers, because I have said that I'm a big fan of Ken Holland just because of what he's done for the Detroit Red Wings, and what letter and phone conversations I've had with Ken Holland. But signing Dave Tippett, I'm actually a fan of that signing. So I know we didn't really touch on that a lot here on the show when I was off, but I think the Oilers are making some good strides. Erik Karlsson, rumors with Erik Karlsson going back to Ottawa or the Montreal Canadiens.
Interesting.
Very interesting indeed. I think Montreal should go all in on Erik Karlsson, as much as that would pain for me to say. I think Montreal should. I think it just makes sense. They have the cap space. It's just the right team, I think. But I would be very surprised if he went to Ottawa, though. I think that's time to move on for him from the Ottawa Senators at the end of the day. But it's definitely going to be a great offseason in the National Hockey League. Now, the last point I want to bring up in the NHL before I go to local points, then Jamie, I know we're going to sign you off because we got to be out of here at 8 o'clock. And then Justin and I will conclude the show in part 3. Dave McCaig alongside Jamie Antonello and Justin Hykel. You have in the National Hockey League coming up the NHL Draft. People are big fans of Capo Caco. Dane Hantro, analyst on the show, loves Capo Caco. He thinks that he should be number one almost over Jack Hughes.
I think he should too.
So if you are the New Jersey Devils are you taking Jack Hughes or Kaapo Kakko? Because I think people are saying, well, you have to go Jack Hughes. No, here's why. New Jersey's not Toronto. New Jersey's not Boston. New Jersey's not Montreal. Edmonton, and you know what I'm going with that. New Jersey can do what the fuck New Jersey wants. They've always played that way. Kaapo Kakko fits the bill. Taylor Hall is going to want out when his free agency time comes up. I will guarantee you that, which is why I think Dubas should be knocking on the door of New Jersey about Taylor Hall. But that's another discussion. The cap space is just another problem in itself on top of that. But this year, Hall's going to the last year of his deal. Makes sense. Do you think Jack Hughes goes first still, though, around the table? I think he does. Or do you think Kaapo Kakko goes first? Justin, will go to you, then Jamie, then we'll move on.
I think Kakko goes first. I think he fills the need in New Jersey a little more. I think he's a more NHL-ready scorer, and New Jersey could definitely use another NHL-ready scorer. I mean,
Jack Hughes is a few years out, but that's where people are going to say, well, you have Heischer. Imagine having Heischer, Hughes punch.
But
and that's where I'm.
Tell me the Jack Hughes to the New York Rangers storyline doesn't make complete sense.
So does New York trade up to make it make sense?
Just tell me that. There's something about I see him and I see him as a New York Ranger. That's how I see it going.
Don't you think maybe that New Jersey needs a nice strong winger? Chris Kreider in the second overall pick for the first overall pick. A little bit keeps Kreider near where he wants to be. It makes you move up. Maybe you throw in a Sweden a little bit in there. Maybe you little third round, fourth, something. Throw a little sweetener in there.
What if they waited out and see if the Devils take Kakko, and then trade up to 2?
That's why I don't think New Jersey's going to say no to to Hughes.
Right, part of that.
That's why. That's why I'm saying that. But I think Kaapo Kakko would fit New Jersey better.
It has not happened often where teams trade up to 1.
No.
And when it happens, you're basically hemorrhaging your franchise.
I can't remember the last time it happened. I think it was when Vancouver, when Brian Burke.
I don't remember the last time in the NHL.
Yeah, I think it was when Burke pulled off to Sedin.
I think, if I remember correctly.
That makes sense.
If I remember correctly, that is when the last time was. And I don't, producer Ghost, don't.
And I mean, that one worked.
Don't look, producer Ghost. I want maybe listeners to.
But how often does that actually work?
Yes.
You got 2 Hall of Fame players, but you didn't.
Yeah, they went to a cup.
No,
they
got Burke fired.
Well, I guess, but
it did. That's funny. Didn't think of it that way.
You gave yourself a chance at least.
I mean, they were cornerstones for the Vancouver Canucks for the better part of almost 20 years. But
so, fellas, we'll have an NHL draft preview show. We're going to do that next week if we're here Thursday or Sunday. Like I said at the beginning of the show, keep an eye on our ticker
NHL awards
for
next week,
that, and we also have the NHL awards as well.
Yeah, and we're 9 days out from the draft.
Now, you have we're going to move towards the the local hockey before Jamie takes off quickly. Christian Prop from the Battalion has been traded to the Sault Ste. Greyhounds overage goaltender for a conditional 15th round pick.
Nice little drive down the highway there.
Ethan Taylor is a young guy. Good Prop will be there. Villalta, we're expecting, will move on to the higher levels of hockey. So Prop will be joining the team. Some other news that's happened. Mark Boudreau has signed with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. The home opener has been announced as well. This is all on the OHL Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds website, and also on OHL Hound Power on Instagram. Friday, September the 20th, 2019 at 7:07. They will play against the Flint Firebirds. Flint will be better this year. I will
Nothing
say
like seeing that
right
7:07 start time, though. I like that.
Tanner Dickinson was something that Justin kind of alluded to, but some other quick news. Tanner Dickinson's also signed with the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds, as well as first-round pick Jacob Holmes, who I'm a big fan of, to come to the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds. It's a great pick, has signed as well. And Morgan Frost and Mac Hollowell are on the first All-Star team in the OHL. Frost with the Philadelphia Flyers.
Not a shock there.
Now you have Justin Brazo, who is on that, who is what? Maple Leaf land now, who's signed in Toronto for the playoff run. Mac Hollowell, drafted 4th round by the Toronto Maple Leafs. Absolute steal, as Dustin, Jamie, and we've all been saying. Dubas loves making those moves.
It's an easy...
And make sure you guys keep an eye out, and I'm talking about you, the listeners, about what's going on locally, especially with the Hockey Driven Camp. Reach out to Dom DeLuca, who will also be a guest on the show and upcoming. Quick little signings with the Sioux Thunderbirds. They have signed Cooper Smeal. He is a 16-year-old. He's 6 foot, 160 pounds. He spent last season with the Sioux Indians, 18 under AAA clubs, scoring 4 times, setting up 11 in 42 games. They also have signed Chase McIntyre, 16-year-old D-man from Echo Bay, Ontario. He's played with the GTHL's Mississauga Senators Midget AAA Club and the OJHL's Georgetown Raiders in 2018-19. Great experience already in the junior level. He put up 7 points in 7 games. And the main sign that came out was Brock Santa Maria, 2002 birth year, stands 6 foot, 170 inches. Spent last year with the Sault Thunderbirds Midget AAA Club. Jamie Henderson knows him pretty good, as well as Alex Cruz, where he led them in scoring 18 goals, 28 points in 36 regular season games as Santa Maria stays, whatever way you want to put it, home with the Sault Thunderbirds. You can follow the Sault Thunderbirds at Sault Thunderbirds on Facebook as well. And you can keep an eye tabs with the NOJHL and the NOJHL website and Sault Eagles, etc. And keep it locked here on the Game Sports Show for everything local. Jamie, thank you for coming by here tonight, pal. Justin and I still have a quick part 3 to get to.
Yep.
I'll let you go, my friend. Thanks for coming on by.
Happy, anytime that our SaberCats practice schedule gets adjusted, happy to come on. It's our bye week next week, so I'm not sure. We're either practicing Tuesday or Thursday. If it's Tuesday, listeners, you'll hear me twice next week once again.
Yes, you will. And we'll be on Sault Online TV together.
Yes, sir.
We're going to do our early recording with us. It'll be all ready to go on Tuesday, but we're going to be on the Tuesday show, the Wednesday show.
That poor makeup artist. She doesn't get paid enough.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Oh, and you got to dress nice for it.
I know. Don't worry.
Okay, good. Not like the freaking pictures that we have out that are definitely going to be changed.
Listen, there's nothing wrong with those. Everyone's comfortable.
Well, now we got to make changes to them, but that's for an off-air discussion.
Yeah.
Dave McCaig alongside Justin Hykel, Jamie Antonello here at the tap room inside Northern Superior Brewing Company. The Raptors are getting ready for tip-off soon, 9 o'clock. An hour away here. It's 8 o'clock. Justin and I still got about 15 minutes tops, probably a lot less.
Tops.
AKA 22 minutes.
Tops will be here till 9.
Jamie, thanks again. We're going to take a break.
Absolutely.
You're listening to the Twin Sault's only local regional national sports show, the Game Sports Show. Make sure you don't go anywhere. More sports talk coming your way. The Game Sports Show is pleased to shout out a partner, additional home, and sponsor to Northern Superior Brewing Company, located on 50 Pym Street in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Northern Superior Brewing Company having a strong presence locally with many beers to offer. With much involvement in the community of Sault Ste. Marie, Northern has a sport and friendly-like atmosphere within its tap room, and during the summer months, it is a must to visit Pier 55 to enjoy some delicious food, amazing view of the water, and view of the Bush Pulling Museum, right on the cusp of the Hub Trail, and of course, all of that down with a delicious brew from Northern Superior. Northern Superior Brewing Company. It's a northern thing.
Get Wicked Catering from the crew at the Wicked Sister.
We like to think of ourselves as foodies. While our favorite foods are paired with a beer tasting at the Wicked Sister, you can now have the same creative menu for your next catered business luncheon, family get-together, wedding, or holiday party. Our white truffle risotto appeals to your gluten-free and vegetarian guests. Add sautéed shrimp or freshly grilled chicken for a pop of protein. Or let us build you a custom menu to suit your needs. From plated events of 15 to buffets for 200, the Wicked Sister will cater your event with tapas, snacks, cravables, or a full sit-down dinner.
The Wicked Sister, where you'll be treated like family, whether you like it or not.
The Game Sports Show would like to thank a list of additional sponsors. North Shore Sports and Auto, new location located on 647 McDonald Avenue, Sault Ste. Marie. A family-owned and operated business with doing business in Sault Ste. Marie for over 10 years. Loads of products available for your enjoyment for all seasons. North Shore Sports and Auto, we understand the importance of quality service and products, and we work hard to ensure that all customers have a positive experience before and after each and every sale. North Shore Sports and Auto, meeting all of your new and pre-owned equipment needs. Special thanks to Salon. The Salon, located on 589 2nd Line East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Mike Cuglietta. Book your appointment today at 705-941-9191 or via online at https://thesalonsioux.as.me-. The Salon, making the Sioux beautiful, one haircut at a time. As well as a shout out to the Superior Pro Shop. The Superior Pro Shop, located inside the Community First Credit Union Superior Arena on 285 Northern Avenue East, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. Owned and operated by Jeremy Paquin and ran by Larry Monroe. Superior Pro Shop, for over 40 years, meet all of your skate sharpening, skate repair, and hockey needs. Also to Discover the Canvas. Discover the Canvas, located on 317 Wellington Street West, Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. A beautiful, new renovated building owned and operated by expert artist and Sioux native Katrina Thibodeau. Katrina taking her talents of the ink in Sault Ste. Marie and truly creating the best and most realistic art locally. Call Katrina today at 705-450-8099 or email her at discoverthecanvas@gmail.com to book your tattoo or consultation today.
You are listening to The Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and national sports show. The Game Sports Show as heard live on Mondays, 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. on Eagle 95.1 and podcast at 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. on location at the Wicked Sister in Sault, Michigan. The show can be followed in the podcasted hour on thegamesportshow.com and thegamesportshow.podbean.com with hosts Scott Nason and David McCaig, along with co-hosts Butch Davis and E.J. Russell. The Game Sports Show is also heard, followed, and viewed on Tuesdays on Sault Online in Sault, Ontario on ONNTV at 6 p.m. till 6:30 p.m. in the summer months, June until August, with September until May being 1 hour from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. with host David McCaig, along with Scott Nason and other members of the Game Sports Show staff, including casual appearances from Craig Hartsburg and Brendan Brooks. The Game Sports Show also heard Wednesdays from longtime partner and location Sports Center Bar and Grill in Sault, Ontario, 9 p.m. until 10 p.m. with host David McCaig and co-hosts Jamie Antonello, Matt Primo, Justin Hykel, and casually Dustin Grondin. The Game Sports Show completes the week of broadcasting with live on location podcast Thursdays from Northern Superior Brewing Company in Sault, Ontario on a weekly rotation from 6 p.m. until 7 p.m. or 7:30 p.m. until 8:30 p.m. from inside the tap room or the brew house from September until June, with June until August 31st outside at Pier 55 on Sundays besides Thursdays. Weather permitting, of course. If weather faults, it is moved back inside the tap room on that respective Sunday in the summer months, with host David McCaig, co-hosts Justin Hykel and Dane Hantrow, and casually with Craig Hartsburg and Brendan Brooks. With any concerns of the show's schedule, do not hesitate to reach out to any of the staff members here on the Game Sports Show. And of course, as always, thanks for listening. Now back to the show.
This is Andy Frost, and you are tuned into the only regional sports show in the Twin Saults, the Game Sports Show.
Welcome back to the Game Sports Show, the Twin Sault's only local, regional, and a national sports show. We're here live inside the tap room at Northern Superior Brewing Company. Jamie Antonello did have to peace out, as we would say in the younger days, earlier here from the tap room at Northern Superior. He had to go pick up a family member, I believe. But that's a good excuse to leave. We let him slide. So we got myself and Justin Hykel here inside the tap room, getting ready for part 3. I did say that we had 15 minutes in the last gap, but we're not going to use all that 15 minutes, I don't think, in these certain points. But we shall see. Justin, we're going to get into MLB discussion now. We already talked about the National Hockey League Stanley Cup Finals, talked about some NHL news. We went around the table. It was just open discussion about some Leaf rumors. Jeff Skinner went around some other players that may be signed, may go elsewhere, and some local news with the Sault Ste. Greyhounds and the Sault Thunderbirds. So we're going to transition to baseball, and it's going to transition nicely because we're going to talk about local baseball because it's pretty simple what we're going to talk about here at baseball. The games were canceled last week and also this week.
Yeah, it's been a rainy little run here.
Yeah. For the games that were scheduled, it was raining. This whole week has been canceled, so we'll have to give you a full update next week from Northern Superior Brewing Company when we're there. But I can tell you that the Game Sports Show Renegades have won their last game. Yours truly pitched an inning and also had a strikeout, allowing 2 runs, though, in his inning, but we ended up winning the game 12-5 against the Hatchbacks. We play the Hatchbacks next Tuesday coming up at Strathclair. And if you have any information that you want to provide to Jeff Mills or ideas, sponsorship wants, or anything in terms of local baseball, reach out to Jeff Mills or Steve McEwen in the realm of that. More so, they are in the realm of the Men's Open Baseball League or the Slow Pitch League, but they are involved and connected to the board where you can talk about the Black Sox that are available. Ashley Hoff and Jordan Trudeau will be guests on the show in July as well. They are coaches of the Black Sox program, so we will be heavily involved with that and following what the Black Sox do all summer. Sinclair Fields have been Brutal Claire Fields, is what I've been calling it. That's why the games have not been played, and that's why the Game Sports Show Renegades are not in action tonight. Something might be a part of it, too, that the Raptors have Game 6. It was an easy cancellation because right now, looking outside, it is clear skies. But again, the fields are not in good shape. So local side of baseball, right now we have not too much to really discuss at this current time, but we will have more throughout the summer. Now, before we jump into the MLB, the 3-up, 3-down segment is now done until the offseason of baseball. The 3-up, 3-down that I started on the show here for Thursdays on the Northern Superior Brewing Company edition of the show was just to be 3 brief points about when it was baseball offseason. We will not have the 3-up, 3-down until the next offseason. We are just going to have random or regular discussion of MLB or baseball news in a roundtable format. Right now, it is a vertical table format with myself and Justin Hykel. So, Justin, we got some news to talk about. The Blue Jays to swing it off. God, they had a rough time against Arizona. Not putting it lightly. 6-0, 8-2, 8-2.
I think they've had a rough time against anyone that
They
shows up on a field opposing them.
They're on the cusp of a 50-loss season already at this current point. They've won 24 games. They are playing in Baltimore. They had a little delay, but this game is back underway here while we talk. And they're up 1-0 in the mid-second, and Baltimore is another very horrible baseball team at this current time. But the Blue Jays, I should say, they're horrible. They're professional athletes, and they would make me look like absolute nothingness out there. But you, Vlad Jr., Biggio, Bichette, all these guys come up. I've said this endlessly on a lot of editions, a lot of positives. But right now, in this type of team that you have with the Blue Jays, you should almost be excited to be a general manager of this team because of the trades you can make and how you can put your footprint on it. And that's where Atkins has had a lot of criticism. Shapiro for the moves that they've done and the patience that is required for them to be the leaders of your team. But the way this Blue Jay team is going with the talent that they have already, MLB ready, this team will be in the playoffs, I think, in 3 years at least.
Well, I mean, you gotta give the GM and you gotta give them some credit. I mean, the rip down of this team and to build it back up and do what they view as the right way. Bringing these young guys up this year, you're not obviously. You're not getting the I don't even want to say desired results because it's not. You're kind of expecting to have a shit season this year. You're going to lay an egg, have these guys build some character. I mean, all the fans wanted was for Vladdy Jr. to come up and just start crushing dingers. But most reasonable sports fans knew that wasn't going to happen. There's going to be a solid adjustment period to the major league game, and major league pitching especially. And then you can come back.
A lot of young guys playing too.
You can come back stronger next year. I mean, I think this is a solid learning year, especially for Charlie Montoya. I think this is a learning year for him as well, as to be the manager of a team.
He's a new general manager in the league too. He gets to grow with this team, which is so important, I think.
Well, and I think he's a really positive mind to have with this young group.
Yep.
Versus the hardened, like we were used to with Gibby. Don't get me wrong, I like me some John Gibbons, but
you've always been a fan.
I think moving forward, I think Montoya is the way to go with this roster, as long as you give it the time it needs to grow.
And the Toronto Blue Jays actually made a trade today for right-hander Nick Kingham. Blue Jays making some minor league moves. He is a part of the Pirates organization for a cash exchange. We just got that trade in from producer Ghost to make sure that we mention that since we're talking about the Blue Jays. Trying to get some young guys in there, trying to move up some guys, give guys a chance to play in the MLB. Marcus Stroman. Yankees want him, the Reds want him, Brewers want him, every team wants him. So much it pains me because I love me some Marcus Stroman. I'd like to see Aaron Sanchez go, and this is me speaking as a Blue Jays fan, not just a sports host at this current time. The reason why I say we, which is very bad to do. So that's one habit I'll have to cut out of eventually, but back on point. Aaron Sanchez, he can't prove that he can pitch right now because of all his blisters. I think he cannot be a starting pitcher. I think Sanchez needs to be a long reliever or a setup man where he can pitch 2 to 3 innings max, and then you watch the load management there, and maybe eventually down the road if he changes his style and moves into more comfortable pitching form, maybe he can alter the issues with his blisters. However, Marcus Stroman will for sure be traded this year. I'll be very surprised if he isn't, especially when it comes to the deadline time. All-Star break is basically around the corner, and you can get your votes in on MLB for that. I'd like to see some MLB players go there from the Toronto Blue Jays, especially despite this disappointing year. Marcus Stroman, the Yankees are going to be in on that. The teams are going to be in on that.
Yankees are in on everything.
But I really think a good fit would be with the Milwaukee Brewers.
Yeah, I really don't know. Stroman, he's, I think, rubbed me the wrong way from the start of this season. And I might be of the demographic that's done with him.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, you still have to understand that there's some value there as a player. And so you can't just get rid of him because you don't think he fits anymore. So I think finding the right deal for him, I also wouldn't want to trade him to the Yankees just because that's going to come back to haunt you at some point in time.
Yeah, see, J.A. Happ you can trade to the Yankees because of the age and you go through that rebuild. But Stroman, he will re-sign because he is from New York. That is where he's from. And maybe he wants to go home, but don't send him to the Yankees then.
No,
send him to the Mets. And I like the Brewers. I think that's a good fit. But I think the Mets have to start knocking on the door. And I think they have some good prospects in there that the Jays can really thrive from.
I think the Mets are a better team to pull from. You're not going to...
Yeah, and you don't play them until you play them in the World Series if you get that far down the road. And the odds are pretty slim with that compared against the Yankees because you will get them in the divisional series.
Well, most players you're going to get from the Yankees, you're going to be in contract hell.
Yep, and they can sign Stroman for whatever the hell he wants.
So why not you look at the Mets, who have a really good prospect pool.
Yep. So do the Brewers, the Cubs, but I don't think the Cubs with getting, making moves that they already have, I don't think that's going to happen. The Brewers, I think, make sense. They're first in the Central. But the team that does make most sense besides the Brewers, if the Brewers were an option, are the Mets. Even the Atlanta Braves.
Isn't there only one trade deadline in baseball this year, too?
Yes, yeah. It's a little altered, so that's why I think the top three teams for Stroman would be Brewers, Mets, and the Braves. Besides, I'm not throwing the Yankees in that because I hope Shapiro and Atkins don't go down that road and trade him somewhere in the AL. I think he's got to go to the NL. He's actually not bad at batting either, Stroman. He can get better with that, so I think it makes sense that they keep trading players like they trade Pilar to the Giants, keep trading players to the other division, and keep them out of harm's way as those are some young studs that can come back to haunt you like you mentioned.
Well, that's a scary one.
The last I remembered was the Jays traded for R.A. Dickey, and they traded Noah Syndergaard in that trade.
Yeah, we'll move on from this conversation.
I would like to see Marcus Stroman hopefully pry back a nice rookie that maybe turns into our own prodigy Thor. Can he get that pick? Yes. I think Stroman is a first-round pick kind of quality. I really think the cash considerations could be there, and they also have a good prospect pool where I think you can get a first, a high-level prospect, and cash, and you might be able to get some throwaway, no offense, roster player that can fit into your rotation. That's just our take with that. Now, moving on to another point in terms of baseball that we're going to jump into. Before we even jump into David Ortiz, you have the All-Star game around the corner, Justin. Do you like watching the Home Run Derby?
Yeah. That's my favorite part.
Is that arguably the best event out of all the All-Star games in sports? I had an interesting conversation with a coworker about this, and I felt that it was interesting because I don't like watching it. Like, I used to love watching the skills competition with the NHL. This year, I don't mind it. You get some places you get to see skill like the stick handling and all that, the speed and all that. But the shootout is a joke with the NHL. But you have the NFL, the Pro Bowl is a joke, in my opinion. I thought people go there just for the trip. Basketball, you have the dunk contest, some entertaining things. But the Derby.
I don't know. For me, it's tied between the home run derby and the 3-point contest.
Oh, you like the 3-point contest?
Yeah, I mean, man.
The NBA getting some love from Justin Hykel.
When you can, I don't know, you got to be really good at your craft when you can toss a ball into a net and not even hit the mesh, it just goes through. That's crazy. Now, don't get me wrong, I like me some dingers too, but.
Yep. Especially when Bautista was in it. I wish he would have won one, Bautista.
I just think there's a lot more hand-eye to either the home run derby or even the 3-pointer. That's a.
Yep.
I don't know. I've got the Raptors have given me a new appreciation for basketball lately too. But
speaking of the Raptors, pretty soon Game 6. Hopefully we're celebrating a championship in Toronto tonight.
I gotta make myself some nachos.
A lot of nachos. You should come to Sports Center. Man. I won't throw you on the bus.
I basically live at Sports Center.
True that. The Game Sports Show will be at Sports Center. If you're not there, then hopefully you're at Jurassic Park.
My food at home is getting jealous, so I got to spend some time with it.
I like that. How's my couch I gave you, by the way?
Not bad.
It's a good couch.
Yeah.
I'm happy that you're able to use that couch.
The dogs put a lot of ass time into it.
Good. I heard your seat recliner doesn't go up, and Tiana's does.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah, one was broken. I gave one time.
That's all right. I mean, I knew that going in. I'm more of a feet on the table kind of guy anyways.
Like that. Last point we got to get to. We only got a couple minutes. Going on to serious, and I kind of wish we would have ended with the chair coming at the end. But
that's all right. We can go back to serious.
Yeah, we could. David Ortiz.
Yeah, that's a
$8,000 hit. I'm a big Poppy fan. He's one of my top 3 players of all time that I love, and he's a freaking Red Sox. But when I saw that hit, it was $8,000. We don't know. We're hearing rumors that some sleeping with other women. I don't even want to go there. We're not the police. We're not going to go to that level of talking about it. Saddened to see that, though.
You know, it's super shitty. For a guy that's, I don't know, done so much for
the Boston community and the Dominican Republic.
Well, that's it. Just for a country, the amount of players that he's been a role model for, and the amount of these guys that are now in Major League Ball. He showed a whole generation of players coming from the Dominican that it was possible.
Yep.
I think it's a bigger scale than just what he's done for the Red Sox. I think kudos to the Red Sox for flying him into Boston and getting him a substantially higher level of health care than probably what he was receiving in the Dominican Republic. But it's just shitty for baseball, especially Dominican baseball, because a lot of those guys worked their asses off to get where they are, and Poppy was a role model for him, and he's in his home country, and
yeah, but he had that hit, and whatever has happened, nothing's worth killing somebody. I don't care what the hell it is. I've been through a lot of heartache in life, and especially recently, being away from the show, and you whatever someone does, whatever someone feels, or whatever someone wants, ending one's life in any type of fashion is not the way to do things. But I'm not who pulled those off. Some people don't think the same as others. That's why this world's unique. But what happened to David Ortiz was a situation that was extremely sad, and I'm very happy, though, that the Boston Red Sox did what they did. Like, they show love to David Ortiz. They flew him there, flew his family there. And it's just amazing when you have that support from the organization. And Boston, as much as we don't show as much love to the Bruins, or if the Jays ever play the Red Sox, I got mad respect for both organizations, and mad respect for New England for being as good as they are and as classy as that organization is. So, again, we wish David Ortiz here on behalf of the Game Sports Show and Sault Ste. Marie in entirety, I'm speaking for everybody, that we wish one of the best baseball players in terms of hitting home runs that we've seen since the early thousands. It has a speedy recovery, and that he can continue to do what he loves, give back to the community, and be a big part and role model in the Dominican Republic, and also be able to one day just walk out on the field at Fenway and throw that first pitch one time again after all this is done. That's what I'd like to see.
I think so. I think it's fitting.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I didn't take that from anybody. I have no rumors. If it does happen, and you heard it here first on the Game Sports Show, I will be sending that into Barstool. Talking to El Presidente, right? Is that what he's called?
I mean, I'm not a big fan.
Is that
I believe so.
It is El Presidente.
It's just my beef against Boston sports teams.
Producer goes tell me it is El Presidente.
Yeah.
Well, I said I'm getting chirped that I got that last name right, but I can't pronounce some other last names. That's great.
Yeah, I mean that's. You got that, but we're still working on the Craig and Greg.
Yes, we are improving. Now we're almost in the overtime minutes. We got to get going here. Justin, we've had a great show here tonight. Lots that we talked about. Stanley Cup finals, NHL rumors, local sports, baseball. We got to go. It's 8:15 here, and people may have heard this live, or maybe people have heard this the next day. Either way, Justin and I got to go watch some Toronto Raptors, and hopefully tomorrow when you're listening to this, you can picture our excitement. We can picture yours, and everyone's excitement in Canada that the Raptors have defeated the Golden State Warriors. If not, we'll be having a Game 7 on Sunday at 8 o'clock.
7, I think, isn't it?
8 o'clock.
Is it 8?
8 o'clock.
Everyone can get their Father's Day dinners in. Don't forget.
That's a Father's Day. Yes, good reminder. Great reminder. Fantastic. Like that, Justin. Not just good looks.
I try sometimes. So
next week, Tuesday, are you going to be on the Sault Online portion?
I think we should see what's going on there.
Yep. We should plan. I have the agenda all planned this weekend. We're planning to have the whole cast somehow fit into that half hour. I'm going to have to figure and get everything creative there. But either way, we will see you next week. Either way.
Can we do sweet intros like wrestling?
We do. We have to take pictures. That's why I do need you there. We have to take pictures and model and do things.
On Tuesday again.
5:15. I need you there.
Ooh, I can do that.
Pictures, intense pictures. It's going to be a fun time.
All right, I'll hit the gym this weekend.
Yeah, I know. We got to wrap it up. Okay, so we'll wrap it up. Justin, next week we'll see you. Listeners, make sure we don't know if we're going to be Thursday or Sunday from Northern next week. We are aiming for Sunday outside at the pier, though.
Look at the nicest day in your weather report next weekend, and that is where we'll be.
At noon.
Yeah.
Plan is noon. If it's nice on a weekend, we're not going any later than 1 p.m. because I want to get my ass in the sun.
Yeah.
I like the early sports. Get up, have a nice couple of brews.
Well, there's not much going on now. I mean, we're stuck with the Jays, and I have a CFL DraftKings going tonight.
We are getting it. We will talk CFL and in the pocket on Wednesdays. But through the summer months, don't forget, keep an eye on all our social media for potential schedule changes, as we do plan to get to a bi-weekly schedule, but only for the radio portion. It is every Tuesday that we will be on Sault Online, as I mentioned at the top of the hour-and-a-half show that we have. Justin, thanks for coming by, my friend. See you next week.
Oh, yeah. I'll be around. You know where to find me. Now that you're back in the West End.
Yes, I am back, and I got a different truck now. We'll talk about that off air. I want to say thanks to Blake Winter and Northern Superior Brewing Company staff and all of our sponsors with the Game Sports Show. It stems from Sports Center, the Wicked Sister, Eagle 95.1, Sault Online. Also, Discover the Canvas, North Shore Sports and Auto, The Salon, Silver Creek Golf Course, Icebreaker Sports Bar and Grill. I have Pingator Cleaners as well being a part of the Game Sports Show. And all the sponsors that we have, we wouldn't be where we are without them. It's fantastic that we support that we get. Superior Pro Shop, it's fantastic for all the support that we get. And if you want to be a sponsor of the Twin Cities only local regional national sports show, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or any of our other partners to get up to speed on how to be involved with the Game Sports Show, especially since now we're on television, baby. Radio and television. Get your fucking popcorn ready. It's going to get we're going to invade your computer screens, your kitchens. We're going to be everywhere.
Well, it depends what you're cooking.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll be selective on the kitchens depending on the meal plan.
Yes, I like that. As I got Blake Winter in the background right now, we will have Blake Winter on in the coming weeks as well. I got to get his ass on radio for some promotion. He's drinking a beer, looking at me a little. I was trying to get him on today. Listeners, if you have any feedback to give us, you can give us feedback in terms of our quality of our new equipment that we've purchased, that we all know was great on last night's show. Just give us any feedback if you have any. And if you want to be a fan guest on the show, don't hesitate to reach out and comment below. I've reached out and had some people reach out already. And we will have an upcoming draw in the coming weeks as well. We plan to do draws with Sault Online frequently and also throughout our Pier 55 segments and also Sports Center. We plan to have lots of draws and giveaways, so make sure you keep an eye on all that and listen to everything involving with the show on TV and also on the radio and post on social media. We'll be back next week starting on Monday from the Wicked Sister Eagle 95.1 before we have a busy week with radio presence Monday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Sault Online on ONNTV on Tuesdays. So make sure to keep it locked here on the Twin Sault's only local regional and national sports show. We got to get going. We got tip-off starting in less than a half hour with the Toronto Raptors. Dave McCaig here. Glad to be back. Reminding you, keep your stick on the ice, swing your bat, catch your touchdown, drain your threes, and I'm speaking the fucking Raptors, baby. Drain your fucking threes tonight and shoot your shots. Kyle Lowry and Kawhi Leonard. Booyah.